Yehonasan, Mochor, Chodesh. Yes, a pasuk. This is the Haftarah, Shabbos Erev Chodesh. This is the Maamar of Shabbos Erev Chodesh. The story of this Haftarah is that David and Yehonasan were very good friends. Yehonasan was the son of Shaul HaMelech, and David had the feeling that Shaul has something against him. So Yehonasan and David made up that they're going to make a little test to see what's the yachas of Shaul to David. So the test was that usually David would eat by the house of Shaul HaMelech, and Yehonasan would do is that for this day Yehonasan would come and David wouldn't be there. We would see what's the reaction of Shaul HaMelech to David not coming. So Lashon that Yehonasan said was, Mochor Chodesh, tomorrow is Rish Chodesh, that if Kadato, and you will be remembered, ki pocket mishavecha, because your seat will be empty, will be missing, you won't be there. So Chassidus, we take this and we go explain what this means. Timius hanyonim, barat tzemach tzedek, but Mari deber maskel zeh. Eira Teira, Tom Tzedek explains like this: David hu b'chinas malchus. Akilalas is called Neshamas Yisrael. Call Yisrael b'nei Malachim. David is the level of Malchus. Malchus is Kail all the Neshamas, because all the Yidden are b'nei Malachim. It says in the Mishnah. It means that all the Yidden come from Malchus. So Chodesh of all the Neshamas. Even if God took Yipagim Mishavecha, who Deshi Yipagim Yachsa, Makim Mishavecha, Bitul, Aidizah, even if God to Amshachas as the Koran Dolamayl. So we explain basically that we're referring to Neshamas Yisrael, and through Neshamas Yisrael having the inyan of Bittul, through that we're mamshich the inyan of V'nifkadato. So you pocket the inyan of Bittul because chose on being missing, which is Heder HaMetzias, non-existence, and V'nifkadato is the inyan of remembering. What does that mean? The inyan of remembering, the darga of remembering L'maylo. See soon what that might mean. What does that mean? The Koran of Chinanaylos v'Yeser could look on, like we'll explain later. The Koran is a very high level. So I guess we didn't have to keep a good Shadach Mochor Chodesh, Kibbeh, Rish Chodesh, so Halam Bastar Alavano. But Sheberekesh Lefnei Melod Leinish Mimena Gam Nekuda. Then as Acharkach Mochor Chodesh, Melod Alavano Michodesh. Shachas Chodesh Me'Hashemesh Alavano Shleher B'Mikodesh. This is connected to the concept of Mochor Chodesh, to the concept of Rish Chodesh and Erev Rish Chodesh. How does it work? What's the inyan of Rish Chodesh? The Rish Chodesh is that then there is the Melod of the Levana. That's when the Levana is reborn. What does it mean reborn? It means that the light of the Levana renews itself. What does it mean that it renews itself? It means that it receives new light from the sun. There's a cycle every month where the first half of the month slowly grows, and then the second half of the month it minimizes again until an Erev Rish Chodesh, it reaches a point where there's mamash nothing left, not even an akudah of light. It's complete cheshach. This is obviously only the moment right before the Mlokut, yeah, not the whole day. Then afterwards, Mochor, because of that, becomes the koyach to have a new air from the Levan, from the Shemesh, a new air. So this is a comparison to what we're talking about. Making a Yisrael Shalem in the Levana. Yidden compared to the moon, they have the same system. They have bittul shalahem through their bittul, through their ki paket mishavecha, through the helim, like Erev Rish Chodesh where there's no air at all, through their complete bittul. Nimshach b'hem air naila b'yeser chodesh. There's a new air that's nimshach to them, which is compared to the inyan of Zikaron. Just like by the moon, a new air is nimshach to them through his bittul and Erev Rish Chodesh. So I just want to put it out there. This explanation of the way things work with the sun and the moon is, want to try to understand how to apply it the way we see what's going on in the sun and the moon. It seems like a very simple thing. We hear about what happens, we see what happens, all the different diagrams, try to understand that it's not so complicated, right? There's the point where the moon is right under the sun, right? And then it goes around. The time that it's closer in a way that we can see the part that's only a part of the moon, and then there's a point where we can see everything. Then it turns around, then we can see again only a little bit of it. So this takes it, right? Everything has a meaning, so without getting into the Gashmis, which also has an explanation. But upon for sure, the way the sun and the moon works is that the moon is the inyan of a makabel, and the sun is the inyan of a mashpia. And the system of what we see is not just a technical thing. Is it? Where is it? It has to do with the way a mashpia and a makabel connect, and the amount of air that there is how much the levana is makabel from the mashpia. So when we speak about Moiled, it really means a chodesh. The way we explain it is that there's a new hamshacha that's being nimshach, just like with a mashpia and a makabel, that there's a point where the makabel brings out in the mashpia a new level of air that was never nimshach before, through his bittul, through the fact that there's no air in the moon. That's what causes there to be a new air from the sun. Okay, just the disclaimer. But ain't because he doesn't get into it in this mind. What's the connection, Taka? Why is Chodesh called v'nifkad, called remembering? Chodesh yeah, like I just said before, we're saying that what's nimshach is a chodesh, new air. A Moiled is a new air. It's not just the same air that was there last month. It's happening again. It's a new level of air that was never nimshach before. So if we want to say that it's a real chiddush, so this we had some had in last Maamar, in the part that we didn't get to in the shiurim. But the chodesh really means a air that was never even potentially able to be nimshach. So a air that's even a air in Seif Shofnei HaTzimtzum, but if it's shaykh to Eilumis, so then it's not, I can't call it a new hamshach. Right? In I could say any air that was never nimshach at Eilumis is a new air, right? Because I said L'maylam HaTzimtzum, right? Even if I say L'maylam HaTzimtzum, it's also a chodesh for the Eilam that it was never nimshach. So this says is that if potentially it was connected to Eilumis, so really all the airs are just revealing what's in the potential. So that you go back, you're really just revealing something that's able to be Nizgala. It's not a chiddush. A new air is air and safe. There is no shaykhs to Eilumis at all. And this is why it's called remembering. According to because where is the inyan of remembering in an air that's completely disconnected from Eilumis? Why? This is very interesting. What he says here is that remembering is only shaykh to say that you have to remember if it's possible to forget. So, if it's something that's completely part of you, you never forget about it. If something that's negaya to you, you never forget about it. Why do you forget? Something that you heard wasn't so important to you, so you forgot. Right? The things that are really important, you never forget. So the same thing in the Eibusher. If we're saying that the Eibusher has to remember, that means that he's disconnected from Eilumis. The Eilumis aren't considered something important. Therefore, it's possible to forget. And we have to say that the Eibusher has to remember. In lower dargis, you don't have to remember Eilumis if that's what it's there for. So I'm saying it's interesting because other places in Chassidus were madgish that Sikarim is the level that you're always remembered. The opposite. That a place that you never forget. And Shikha is a place that's disconnected. It's more Chatzeni. Here it's flipped around. I'm just pointing out. Anyways, what are we saying? How are you mamshich a earth that's completely disconnected from Eilumis, this earth of Zikarim, dafka through bittul? Why? What's the explanation? The way it works is, person does avodah. Which avodah is mamshich, which earth? So it depends what's the essence of his avodah. if the avodah of the person is connected with his metzias, so even if it's not yeshes, it's not for himself, it's not self-centered, it's for the Eibishter. But if it's still a avodah that has to do with what type of metzias he is, because of the milas that he has, what he feels, what he derheres, so that is connected with his metzias. Even if it's a metzias of kedusha, it's still metzias. So the amshacha that you're going to be mamshach through that avodah is going to be a that is connected with metzias. Like we'll explain in the next Seif Barichas. When we say that an avodah is mamshach ha'er, right, what that means is that the reason why this ha'er was nimshach is because you were ma'ir that idea l'mayla. Because of that, the Eibusher is mamshach that idea to you. So, why is it nis'er? Because what you did has importance, right? And because this ha'er is connected to your existence, so therefore your existence will make a difference. What you do will make a difference. But if you want to be mamshach ha'er that's completely disconnected from Eilamais, where all the Eilamais are completely nothing, so your metzias will never be able to be ma'ir that. So how you ma'ir that? So the abitul yipakim mishadach. So through the avodah where you're nothing, so that's able to be ma'ir and be mamshach ha'er where you're nothing too. That's the words that we want to say. That's the explanation of the way it works by Yidden, the way it works by the Levana, that how you mamshach ha'er chodesh, how you mamshach ha'er that's completely disconnected from Eilamais to no metzias. So what the Rebbe is going to do now, this is what it says in the Maamar 7. The Rebbe is going to do now is he's going to explain how it works in general in Chassidus, avodah being mamshach, and based on that, the Chayra is saying this expression, this explanation that bittul is mamshach l'mayl mishtalshus is a little bit shver. So, in order to explain more in detail this great my love and Nifkadato, Yuvan, Apiyam, Vorabukotayra, in general, the famous Maamar, Kotayra, Shirashirim, that there's 3 levels in the Susad al. This you have many times that I was Amarim. 3 levels in the Susad al. One level is the Susad al Shem Sadatzma. There's a Susad al, there's a Gili that's Nimshach, Mitzad the Eibishter. Without your avodah, the Eibishter is the one that's the instigator, the one that's mamshach to you that hamshacha. Then the second level is Yesusul la'elu shem sayeres and nimshach asadei Yesusul lasat avidas adam. There's the gili that's nimshach because of your avodah that you're ma'ir that inyan l'mayla. Then there is Yesusul la'elu above matanam l'mayla, a gili that comes as a present l'mayla from the Eibishter. Ela shem shachasa hi dafka la'achar shem savid. But what makes it possible for that to be nimshach? Because your avodah is b'shleimus. But it's, in other words, it's not this error through the avodah, because the Eibusher wants to give it to you. But still, how is it possible to be nimshach? Because you're b'shleimus. We'll explain in a minute how this works. So for starters, the first level, the gilui that comes from Mamayla, that's something that your avodah would never be able to reach to. What does that mean? Why is it not possible for your avodah to reach there? Because all the whole union of Elamus isn't a gay over there. So whatever you do will never be able to affect it. So why is it nimshach? Nimshach because the Eibusher wants to give it to you. It's not just technically because he decided to give it to you, but because it's tackle a mile from you being able to me'er anything. This is usually connected with this gilui is the Eibusher being ma'ir you. That's usually what this gilui is referring to. Then this is something that comes from a place that your avodah is negay. In other words, it's a lower level. It's a level where nivroim are important. And it's important enough that you can affect that whatever your ma'ir is taking nimshach. And the third level is so this is something, again, if it's coming as a present from the Eibishter, that means it's something that your avodah will never be able to be mamshach. The Eibishter decides to give it to you, you'll get it. But when could it be misgala? Only after you are b'shleimus. You are b'shleimus, meaning your avodah is b'shleimus, and you also mamshich this usus la'ela that's nimshach based on your avodah of the second level. Both have to be b'shleimus. What's the explanation? If it's coming from a place that your avodah is in negeya, if it's coming from a place that's higher than Ibrahim, so why do you have to be b'shleimus for the earth to be there? What's the explanation? Even though it's a present from the Eibishter, so it doesn't make a difference what you do, what you don't do. There has to be some sort of keli for it. The Eibishter only shayda in a place that is complete. What we're saying is, it's not pshat that your avodah is what made the Eibush give it to you. And it's not pshat that your avodah affects the earth. Elamai, it's for you. The earth will be nimshach. The question is, will you feel that earth? Will that earth be misgaled to you? If you're not a keli, the Eibush can't rest, can't be nimshach, can't be revealed in a place that you're not a keli. So for you to be able to have the earth revealed in you, you have to be a keli. That's why the only time that it's nimshach in the person is through him being b'shleimus. Masha'enki in the first level. The first level doesn't make a difference what you do, what you don't do. The Eibush does mamshach anyways. The pshat is because it's more of a chatzoniistic, a simple type of gilui. Like we said before, it's just there to be ma'ir the person. We say the baskol, yetzim archerev, right, every day. So this type of esayrus, it's not something that's really going to be mizgal and you b'plimius, and it's not something that's such a deep air, so it doesn't make a difference where you're holding. It's a very basic esayrus. So this is called chatzonius ha'er. Okay. This is the beer that it says in the Torah. Here the Rebbe applies that to our Maamar Vayomer, the Gilei v'nefkadata is even higher than the third level of the Sushas La'ela that's Nimshach after Shleimus Aved. Why? Says Shleimus Aved Sa'adam Ma'itzi Atachtoinim Hikvei Kli La Gilei Sushas La'ela Moira Sha'aved Sa'adam Yesh La'ezeh Erech V'Shaychos Sushas La'ela. If you could become a Keli for that Gilei, then what does that mean? That means that your Avodah has some sort of importance to that earth. The Bayin Seif Shalamayim B'Shaychos La'ela the Kol HaKamei Kalachshiv Ein Shayich Loimar Shashleimus D'Maisei Tachtenim Himakim Mochor Asar Shlim La Gilei Dein Seif the Kivin Shel Kol HaKamei Kalachshiv Halagabi Gilei Zayin Asar Shlim. We're saying, or for the Eibush to be Mizgala, you have to be a Keli, you have to be B'Shleimus, that have to be Mizgala. What's considered a Makim? What's considered Shleimus? If your whole Metzius has no significance to Gabi this earth, then there's nothing that you will do that will make you a complete place for such an earth. You have no erech to this earth at all. Nothing that you do can make you a Keli for it. So if we say that your Avodah is able to make you a Keli, that means that at some level you have a Chshivus. There is something in you that could be connected and could have a place in this earth, and that's why there's something that you can do that can make yourself a Makkah Mochor for this earth. But what we're saying in this Maamar, in Yonazikara, even if Kadata, by Dagash, they didn't say Shkalaka make a Lashi, doing what's in Yonazikara, and Shayin Shayach, Alabadavish, and Nakshabain of Canal. But in our Maamar, we're saying that the Eibush is remembering us because the whole Inyan of Elam is completely not natural. So this is even higher than what we're saying. In the third level of the Sushas Leil, we're saying it's a level where the Elamists have no importance at all. There's no Metzius at all. So once we say that, fact that Rebbe Sef Gimel v'tzarich la'avin shabbat darga there and say shkolak make a lachshiv gam habitul shel adam alachere kalachshiv. If your whole Metzius is garnished, so who cares if you're bittul? You're saying, oh, I'm in bittul, so I'm not a Metzius. So now my not Metzius is going to be mamshich. It's going to be ma'ir l'mayla b'Metzius. But if this earth is l'mayla b'Metzius, then your whole avodah, anything that you do, has no importance at all. So you're going to be bittul. It doesn't make a difference to that or either. So how is your bittul going to be ma'ir? This darga to be namshach. Now the Rebbe points out, really, this what we're saying in our Maamar about how much your avodah affects the earth is even more than what we're saying in the third level of the Torah. Why? That the Yisur La'ela that we said in Kut Torah is nimshach only after your b'shleimus. So even though, like we said before, this shows that there is an erech to the not like what we're saying in our Maamar, but still, it's not pshat that your avodah is mamshich the by the third level. Eibshter is giving it as a matana. It's nimshach on mitzad l'mayla, mitzad chasdoi yisbar, kachafetz chasadu. The Eibshter has chesed. The Eibshter wants to give you a greater than you're shaykh to, and that's why you're receiving. The only reason why the person needs to be b'shleimus is for him to be muchshel, to be makabel that gilui. Not only is your avodah not the one that makes that misgal lamata, but it doesn't. For sure, it's not going to be the thing that's going to be ma'ir that target to look to be nimshach. You have no chshivus to that point, right? It's just for you to be a keli for that. But what we're saying in our Maamar, in the vinifkato, so on the one hand we're saying it's even a higher darga. It's a darga where ilmas are not actual at all. But on the other hand we're saying we're saying that your bittul is being ma'ir that darga. You're a mamshik cleaning of the garden. How is that possible? That's our question. Yuvim zeh, al piyam war bad rushim, al shaykhas avim li Yehonasan, amiras Yehonasan David Mochor Chodesh. So in Chassidus it explains that the inyan Mochor Chodesh connects to the beginning of the pasuk Vayomer lo Yehonasan that Yehonasan told David. Right? Till now what we're saying that it's inyan of David. David is Malchus. David's bittul is Meir. So this explains that the Vayomer lo Yehonasan talking to David is also connected. Inyan Chodesh Mil Galavanu Am Shachas Chodesh Me'Hashem B'Shalavanu. What is the inyan of the Moiled, of the birth of the Lavana, like we said before, to be mamshech new air from the sun? Yedua Shemesh v'Yereach B'Sharshim Zohar Malchus. Source of Shemesh and Yereach L'Maylo is Zohar Malchus. The Zohar Malchus must be a makabel. The Duk Shemesh Yereach because it's a similar system. Zohar, which is the spheres of the Midas and Yisoid of Atzilus, is the Mashpia, and Malchus is the makabel, just like the sun and the moon. So we have shaykhs the Mochor Chodesh Vayomer lo Yehonasan ki David b'chanas Malchus Lavana u'k'meshel kasav David u'akatan ben Razal shel nikra keino shel amar akatan Lavana. David is the level of Malchus, which is Lavana, like the pasuk says that David is the katan. So the Gemara says that David u'akatan means that he's similar to the moon, which is the Moir akatan. Yehonasan hu zah b'chanas shemesh havayim. Yehonasan refers to zah, which is like the sun. Mamshich mashpia b'malchus, which is the mashpia and malchus. Zel sheyehonasan yud kevav nasan sinas v'ashbas b'chinas yud kevav l'malchus. This is the Isis of Yehonasan is yud kevav nasan. Right? We know the 4 letters of yud kevav ke is the yud kevav refers to the spheres of Atzilus, and the last day refers to malchus. So we say Yehonasan that the yud kevav nasan. Yehonasan is the hashpah of the spheres of Atzilus, the Malchus. So, Akasha the Vayomer Am Shacham Yehonasan David Mochor Chodesh, Kinyan Chodesh Hu Am Shacham Yizah Shemesh Malchus Lavana. So it's the same thing. Mochor Chodesh is referring to the Moil Galavana, which is the Hamshacha of the new air from the sun to the moon. That's the same thing as Vayomer lo Yehonasan. David is Malchus, and Yehonasan Yud Kevav Nasan. He's giving the Eidos of Atzilus to David. Says the Rebbe Lahoyer Shapiya. Now, if we type like that, in Vayomer lo Yehonasan Shayach l'Reish Chodesh, Sha'azu Am Shacham Yizah Malchus, then Nifkadat. So this is based on that. Vayomer lo Yehonasan is not connected to Mochor Chodesh; it's connected to Reish Chodesh. Mochor Chodesh means tomorrow is Reish Chodesh. Yeah, meaning that day is Reish Chodesh. So Vayomer lo Yehonasan is explaining what's going to happen tomorrow. What's going to happen in Reish Chodesh? Maamar Vayomer lo Yehonasan Mochor Chodesh, mashma Vayomer lo Yehonasan Shayach Gam. Right? According to Chassidus, Yipaket Meishavecha happens on Reish Chodesh. That's when there's no Gili of the Levana. And Nifkadata is what happens on Reish Chodesh. So, the inyan of Bittul that happens on Reish Chodesh is what happens on Mochor. Today I'm saying it's tomorrow. Right? So even though I said tomorrow, and I'm talking about tomorrow, but tomorrow is tomorrow. When I say tomorrow is Reish Chodesh, I'm talking about Reish Chodesh. So what's the connection of Vayomer lo Yehonasan, which is the hamshacha, the meilut, not the bittul of the Levan, but the hamshacha of Eir Chodesh from the sun, which happens on Rosh Chodesh? Why is that connected to Mochor Chodesh, which is Erev? Yeshleim Rabir Baza, Chodesh, Yoyin di Pak Nishavech, Fish, all these are even if Galato, who are the Nisans Geklamai. The Rebbe says here, very big kids are 2 points. This whole system needs a Nisans Geklamai. It's not so simple for a person to be able to affect Lamailo to that. So there's 2 nukudas here. First of all, the fact that you could be bebittul, for the tachton to have the koyach to be bebittul, he needs an Nisans Geklamai. And also, for that bittul to affect Lamailo, to be part of an Afgadato, you also need to have an Nisans Geklamai. So, Vayomer lo Yehonasan Mochor Chodesh, ki Yeshleim Ha'agzash, and Vayomer lo Yehonasan Lifnei HaTevis Mochor Chodesh Hu, ki Vayomer lo Yehonasan Ramshachas and Nisans Koyach Mizal HaMalchus, al Indi Yipakad Nishavech She'er Rosh Chodesh, V'shal Yizay even Afgadato Rosh Chodesh. The reason why the pasuk starts off with the words Vayomer lo Yehonasan before Mochor Chodesh, before also the bittul of Rosh Chodesh, because we want to say that the gilim Umayla Vayomer lo Yehonasan is what gives the koyach from Zat Malchus to affect both in Yanim. Side to give you the koyach for the tachton to have the bittul, and side to be able to be poyel through that the inyan of an ifkadat on Rosh Chodesh. L'chein Maamar Vayomer lo Yehonasan Lifnei Mochor Chodesh, ki Vayomer lo Yehonasan hu anasanas koyach al inyan Mochor Chodesh. Vayomer lo Yehonasan, now we said it's not only the gilui of the Eir Chodesh that happens on Rosh Chodesh, it's the anasanas koyach for this whole avodah to be able to happen. Okay, stop here.